This step is kind of up to you. I've just got the apron laying out, pocket side up, right side up, and you're going to determine where you want breaks in your pocket, or instead of having just one big giant pocket that would just kind of hang there in front of you, you will separate it by putting stitches in at various locations. The original directions had you put a stitch line right here in the center, and then you would measure from the center to the edge and do another one right here. So it just kind of depends on what you're wanting to do with your apron. Maybe you want a spot for a pencil or something, so maybe I want that right in the middle. So I could put a stitch line right down the middle, and then maybe an inch over I would leave a spot for a pencil to slide down in there. Maybe I want a really nice big pocket about that size. Maybe I'm going to put a hand towel in there when I'm cooking. So it kind of depends on what you have planned for your apron. So if you aren't wanting to get creative with this and don't really care, just put one in the middle, halfway between there, and then the same thing over here. But I'll leave that up to you. You'll just mark a pin wherever you do want them, and then you will measure from the end to that pin, from the end to that same position, and you'll use a marking pencil to draw a line in any of the locations that you want it. The center is really easy because you could just use, there's an existing crease right here because we cut this pattern piece on the fold, so you could just use that center crease as your guide, and you wouldn't even really need your marking pencil to measure it. Just to give you an idea, I've gone ahead and kind of measured out where I want my stitch lines to go, and I'm probably going to wear this in a sewing lab, and so I've got a spot here for my shears to go, and then I've got some other bigger pockets that my hands can get down in a little bit more easily. So for smaller items, maybe I'll keep my little screwdriver for the sewing machine, some extra bobbins, maybe a spool of thread or something that students are needing regularly. So I could keep all those in those bigger pockets where I could easily reach my hands down in there, just to give you an idea of what you might want to do. Alright, so I'm going to sew my first line in my pocket, and I didn't draw any lines in because I really don't care exactly where these pockets are. It doesn't really matter that much to me. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at, can you see that? Good. Looking at this tray over here, there's a slit right there, so I'm just going to keep the edge of my pocket lined up with that, and I'm going to use that as my guideline. I've put in a lime green thread on my top spool, so that's what you'll see. So you'll actually be able to see the stitch that I'm putting in, which means I need to sew straight. So that's why it's nice to have this little line right here. I won't always have that, but it is helpful in getting me started. I am going to reverse to the end, and I'm just going to sew straight to the top of the pocket. And I'll slow down once I get close, because I want to just get to the edge of it. There we go. And I want to reverse. And I'm done with my first pocket. So now what I have to do is just repeat that process all the way down. So a straight line back stitch at each end until I have all the pockets made that I need.